Yo, what is going on, you guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about 5 great classes to main in Maplestory come New Age. Now, once again, this video is not going to be in any particular order. I think all 5 of these classes are great. First on the list, we're going to talk about Dawn Warrior. Dawn Warrior is a great bosser and a mobber, but first let's talk about the pros. This class is extremely easy to play and at the same time does a ton of damage in bossing. The training is very simple on Dawn Warrior and allows for very relaxing training sessions. Another pro is you are wanted in a ton of bossing parties, not only because of the high damage output, but because of the skill True Sight Dawn Warrior has to offer. It's essentially a 15% final damage support buff, which is amazing in all bosses in Maplestory. This class also has iframe dashes. It has a teleport dash and has great off burst damage. This class is absolutely amazing and is extremely beginner friendly as well. There aren't that many cons that come with this class. One being this class might be a little boring for some people because it is extremely easy to play. Some would say it is too easy to play, but that's pretty much it for the cons on Dawn Warrior. If you're someone coming back to the game and want an easy to play class that offers party support and does an insane amount of damage in bossing, Dawn Warrior is the class for you. Moving on to a class that isn't as beginner friendly but has everything Dawn Warrior has, we're talking about Shadower. Shadower is such a great class. The pros are as followed. Shadower does very consistent damage in bossing, has a low cooldown iframe, aka Trick Blade, has 20% miso passive effects, so you will get more money while farming, which is amazing for a class to have. This is the only class in the game that has this passive, which makes Shadower such a great main. And while we're talking about farming, the training is extremely easy on Shadower. You have a built-in summon, you have miso explosion, aka marks. Full clearing maps is very simple on Shadower and allows for very relaxing and chill training as well. Shadower also provides party support, aka smokescreen, 20% crit damage, and Shadower has dark sight, which makes for great survivability. Shadower also has amazing movement and is very satisfying to boss with. You're pretty much bursting non-stop. Now the cons are Shadower is a bit harder to play. There is a lot of micromanaging. Shadower also is a very high input class while bossing, and there's a bit of a learning curve with miso weaving. You get used to it. It might be a little harder to learn at first, but I would not let the learning curve deter you from playing this class. Shadower is definitely one of the best classes in the game currently. I highly recommend this class if you're thinking about maining a thief. Next up on the list, we have Buccaneer. The pros are it is a high damage uptime class. Buck has a pretty big burst while maintaining consistent damage throughout a boss fight. This class also has defense form, which makes you invincible a lot of the time. Buccaneer's entire burst is an iframe, so when you're bursting, you don't have to worry about getting hit, dying, or losing HP. You are 100% invincible while bursting on Buck. Buck is an extremely easy class to get off your damage, and training is very good early on with Lord of the Deep. This class also does give party support with banner. It's not a lot, but it does offer something. And Buck also has great movement, one of the best movements in the game. Now the cons is that the training does fall off a little bit in grandest maps, but with the new HP reduction in reboot, this shouldn't be an issue come New Age. This class is a very DPM heavy class and doesn't really fit the burst meta that well, but the burst is still great on Buck, so definitely do not let that deter you. All of the iframes that Buck has are tied to its burst, so you're not really able to pop an iframe if you're not ready to burst. And this class is a little bit harder to master the movement. It can definitely get annoying sometimes, but once again, do not let the cons deter you from maining Buck. This is such a great main. Highly recommend it. Next on the list, we have Ice Lightning and Explorer Mage. The training is very good on this class. You have a built-in summon, and when you pair that with the Urda summon, this class can full clear so many maps. This is a tele class, so if you like teleport classes, this is definitely a plus for you. This class does have an iframe, and you can also swap to the other Explorer Mages, aka Fire Poison and Bishop, without being punished if you're getting a little bored with Ice Lightning. Now the cons of this class are you do have to time Infinity. The iframe that Ice Lightning has is your bind, so when you're solo bossing, you're not really gonna have an iframe, but while party bossing, that's not something you have to worry about. You do have have to put the bosses in corners at sometimes for bolt barrage to get the most damage possible. Obviously not every boss you're going to be able to lure it into the corner, but for some like Vihilla and Lotus, getting it to the corner is definitely something you're going to have to do, which can be a con to some. This class is an explorer mage, so you are going to have very high legion slash buff duration for this class to really shine, which can be a turnoff for a lot of people, as legion does take a bunch of time to accumulate. Last but definitely not least on this list, we have Wind Archer. The pros of this class are as followed. It is a very easy to play. This class has great survivability. The movement is very good on Wind Archer as well. You have a dash that feels seamless while bossing. The training on this class is very good, pretty much using AoEs the entire time while training. You have marks and low cooldown abilities, and one of the biggest pros for Wind Archer is that you do have a dummy for bossing. When you put down the crystal that Wind Archer has, the boss will focus on the dummy instead of you, which allows for very easy and straightforward bossing. It allows you to negate a ton of boss mechanics. The cons on this class is it doesn't really have a real iframe other than Gale, which is an amazing survivability utility. You can't move during your hurricane attack, which is something a lot of people don't like. It can make the class feel very clunky at times, but you do have Wind Walk, which is its dash skill that feels very satisfying while bossing, so it kind of negates the clunkiness of this class. This does have a lower end burst, which is kind of bad for the meta, but once again, don't let that deter you. The damage is very good on Wind Archer. Lastly, this class lacks a little bit in the ID department. At the end game, you're probably going to need 1 or 2 ID fams. This class is great. The skill effects are amazing. The training is fantastic. You can't go wrong with Wind Archer. But that is it for our list, and that is going to wrap up 5 more great mains that you can play in Maplestory come New Age. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys want a part 3, let us know down in the comment sections below. As always, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.